friends, and welcome to another episode of Tried and Tested. Today we're going to try out some cheap makeup from Miniso. So Miniso is a chain of stores and they sell everything from household items to makeup, and they are super cheap. So they're kind of like a competitor to Daiso, but in terms of aesthetic, it's more like Muji or Uniqlo. So today we're going to be trying out their cheap makeup. So here are some makeup brushes from Miniso, and they are said to be the Real Technique dupes. Actually, if you have a look, they kind of look almost exactly the same, except that these are like 1/10 of the price. So this comes in a little pouch like this, and then also you can open this up, you fold it down, tighten that up, and so it stands. So actually, right, the Real Techniques one is also really similar to this. This is basically like a complete copy of the other brushes. So this is like a multi-purpose brush. So in terms of the brush itself, it actually feels pretty soft, and the handle is also pretty solid. It's got a nice weight. It doesn't feel like super cheap or anything. Okay, I'm just gonna apply some loose powder. This is pretty good, it's pretty soft. The only thing is maybe it's not like super fluffy, but as in, it's still a decent brush. Okay, so next up is the foundation brush. Also feels about the same. Soft bristles, good light density. Did a pretty good job. Nice and blended, no streaks. It definitely doesn't feel like a luxe brush by any means, but it feels like a decent brush. Okay, now we have the eyeshadow brush. Yeah, it picks up the eyeshadow really well, and that was just with a touch. Huh. Yeah, that's pretty good. Oh, it's really soft. It's a really good eyeshadow brush. This is really nice. For a set of brushes that are $3.90, I think these are pretty good. Like, they are soft, they work, they pick up the product well. I really wanted to not like it because I think it's not really cool that they kind of ripped off like Real Techniques like completely. I mean, you could have made a good $3.90 brush set without copying everything, right? I would rate this an 8 out of 10. For $3.90, I think it's an amazing brush set. Like, I think it's crazy. I mean, even the cheap brushes, I mean, it'd be hard to get a cheap brush for like $3.90, right? Like one brush. So this, with everything, $3.90, I think that's pretty impressive. These are eyelashes from Miniso, and I actually personally use these, and I love them because they're very light and they look very natural, and I think they're like, what, $5.90? Right? Yeah, I find that to be a very good price point for 10 eyelashes. I actually mentioned these in the What's in My Makeup Bag episode, so if you haven't watched it already, go check it out and then come back. They're not all perfectly identical, but I don't have a big problem with them. So I really love these lashes because I find them to be really soft and fluttery, and also the thread that they are on, they're very fine, so it's easy to blend it into your lash line. I find the application of this like super easy because it's so malleable. The other thing is because it's crisscross, I feel that it adds the density without looking very fake. Because if you can see, the individual hairs are still super fine. And then the other thing is the thin band, I think, makes it really concealable. So overall, everything looks really natural. I would rate this a 9 out of 10. Because I still feel that actually sometimes the band, like depending on your luck, sometimes you can feel like the threadiness of it. And also, like, I mean, that sometimes the lashes are a bit not even and all that. I would have to take away some points for that. But overall, like, definitely a 9. These are $5.90 for a box of 10, so 59 cents a pair. Compared to the other eyelash brands out there, this is much cheaper, and for what you get at that price. So this is a Sonic facial cleansing brush, and it's $25.90. So this is like 1/10 of the price of some of these Sonic facial cleansing brushes out there, and I think it's pretty insane. So it's $25.90, and it also comes with a replacement brush. What? I'm really liking this stand. I mean, I like stands. It feels so soft. This is ridiculous. And it's quite quiet as well. Actually, it feels rougher on my face than it did on my hand. Like, on my hand, I thought it felt really soft, but now that it's on my face, I can definitely feel like a bit pokey. It feels like it's scratching my face. No, like... I don't like this. Ow! So I've tried many different brushes, from the cheap to like the really expensive, and I would say that And I don't usually say things like that, but this is the worst of the lot. That was really painful. My face wash wasn't like foaming or anything. Yeah, and I kept going thinking, no, maybe it's just in my head. But the more I went, the more like this really hurts. Like it just feels like it scratched off the upper layer of my skin. I mean, yeah, my skin is soft now because it scratched it off. I don't, not a fan. Not a fan. 0, 0, 0. 0. I think this may be good for your elbows and your knees maybe. Ow! This is an eyeshadow pencil with a brush. It's not really a pencil, it looks more like a crayon. And the brush isn't really a brush either, it's like a cushion. Oh, that's very nice and creamy and very pigmented. Okay, let me try blending it out with this brush. Oh, okay, so a bit weird with this brush because it feels like it's erasing and not blending. Alright, so the color comes off really well. It's got a liquidy, bronzy feel. It's interesting because sometimes these crayon things look quite creamy, but this one is coming off more like a gel. Yeah, and it feels very wet. Oh, the color is really pretty though. Okay, now I'm just gonna try this like brush or a tip or a cushion, whatever this is called. I think for this I would rather use my fingers. The texture of this, I think it lends itself quite nicely to finger blending. For me, like the effect, this looks more dewy and clearer. It's like it's got a clearer base. This is $3.90! Wow! So this thing, I feel like it doesn't set very well at all. So this has been sitting for a while, but just now I just rubbed it again and the whole thing just disappeared. So if you have oily lids, I have a feeling this isn't going to work for you. I would give this a 6.5 out of 10. Just because it doesn't set very well, but I'm loving the color and I'm loving how easy it is to blend, but like not setting is a problem. This is the Big Eyes Flawless Liquid Eyeliner from Miniso. Of course it's from Miniso. Everything is from Miniso today. And it's supposed to be waterproof, sweatproof, and long-lasting, 24 hours, they say. Best part of all of this, $3.90. So let's test this out. Ooh, it's very easy to draw with this. It's got a nice control on this tip. The color is really nice and black. Oh, it sets really fast as well. Eh, that's weird. So when I rub it, it's not budging. But I did notice that the color has changed. I'm just going to draw another liner, you see. That's two different colors. So after rubbing it, it became this color. But like, this is the original black. It actually looks a bit green, like if you look very closely, it looks a bit green. So it's supposed to be waterproof. Let us try. Color has changed again. This is very weird because the color is changing here but it's not coming off. I don't know where it's gone. Like where did it go? Put a tissue over it. No ink has come off. Yeah, it's really easy to draw. The color is like really black. You know, I realized that you do have to go a couple of times to kind of get it like evenly coated. In terms of the tip and everything, it's pretty easy to control. They say that this tip is always dry. That is true because it does feel a bit scratchy. Like it does feel a little bit dry. But I think that's down to like handling, because if you do it like this, which is apparently how you're supposed to do it, then it actually feels alright. Overall, based on my first impressions, I would give it a 7 out of 10. But for the price, $3.90, I think this is pretty amazing. Alright, this is a cushion tip lipstick. It really smells like a cushion, like that foamy material is just, that's all I can smell right now. The product is in here, and this is a cushion tip applicator. So this doesn't feel creamy, neither does it feel watery, neither does it feel powdery. I'm so confused. It just feels like pigment. Ah! Sorry. Once it gets on, like it stains. It doesn't stay completely, but definitely leaves a stain behind. I guess if anything, it'll be closer to cream than the rest, but it doesn't feel creamy. Sponge tip is pretty hard. I am not feeling this at all. The application is really quite hard to get an even one. It's kind of like patchy. It's not drying out my lip, but at the same time it's not like moisturizing it or anything. It's pretty pigmented, and I can see how this could be good for like the gradient lip effect because the pigment is quite strong. I am personally not a big fan of, I think, this kind of texture on the lips. It feels like the product sits on top of the sponge and you kind of just like dab it on. I can't really tell. So overall, I would rate this 5 out of 10. Yeah, I think it's alright. I would give this a 5 out of 10. Okay, we come to the end of the episode. Have you downloaded the Clicknetwork app? If you haven't, you should, because you can. Let's hear it. That's right! Watch the videos 1 month before they come out on YouTube. Very good! Till next time, go be beautiful.